Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Story number 1. You Made a Mistake, written by EndersGame69. I need a translation for you done fecked up as soon as possible, Admiral Zascan said. As the 9th Admiral of the outermost system of the Zlacta hegemony, he followed his protocols to the letter. When coming across a new race that is yet to offer resources to the homeworld, destroy the outermost colony of the offender, and offer their authorities the chance to submit after a display of might. In this case, it was a small colony belonging to a bipedal species that identified itself as Homo sapiens on the first contact before his salvo obliterated them. "You done fecked up," was their last transmission to him before his second salvo killed what was left. The colony was an isolated one near the very rare, stable wormhole. The world was almost worthless. The only thing it had to offer was the superabundance of plant life. It was poor to minerals, small, and had no worthwhile animal life. More importantly, probes sent through the wormhole reported nothing for hundreds of light years, not even a space station. They were still reporting nothing the day they disappeared and stopped transmitting. The antenna of his language expert wiggled as he spoke. The red carapace glinted in a faint glow of the lights. His mandibles clicked together as he spoke. "There is no direct translation. At first glance, it seems that they wanted to come up and have sex with us, but that can't be right. I believe that they were using the sex as a metaphor for a mistake, and that we made a mistake of some sort. Could it be that they have already offered a tribute to the homeworld?" The Admiral ruled that out immediately. He read the reports thoroughly before every new encounter, and none of their ships had come out this way in years, let alone encountered this race. A funny-looking soft body like that, one would have remembered. "I wonder how they survived." He dismissed the idle question and sent the transmission off to the homeworld per protocol. A science vessel would be dispatched to evaluate the remnants. Zistcan gave it no more thought for months until he received his courtesy copy of the report detailing the findings on the colony world he'd obliterated. "Self-repairing bodies, bones growing through their sound holes and stained with meat. Muscle total pull capacity exceeding 17 tons if they could pull in the same direction. Entertainment featuring primitive gods and demons. Lots of violence. Mildly interesting, but no more noteworthy than any other subject species, which must tribute to the hegemony." Zixtan gave it no more thought again for 2 more years, until he turned on his view screen at his desk one day and saw the face of their emperor. "Ziscan, Fleet Admiral, you are the one who destroyed the bipedal colony of Homo sapiens 2 years and 2 months and 6 weeks ago." The Emperor skipped all formality, a shocking departure from protocol, but he at least kept the ordering of events by timeline. "I did," he answered, but he was cut off from anything more. "They have responded." The Emperor's antennae flitted apart madly. As the view changed, the wormhole was open again, and through it poured a sea of white ships, each of them dozens and dozens of times larger than his flagship. The transmission of the Homo sapiens came on screen. "This is Fleet Admiral Trio, Flight Commander for the Great Terran Amalgam. By order of the Interstellar Senate, the protectorate status of your empire is now forfeit. For centuries we have left you alone so that we could not impede your natural development. However, due to your wanton and unprovoked aggression, you are hereby ordered to stand down your fleet at once, and offer surrender and begin negotiations for a peace settlement that will ensure these events never happens again. This will of course include the liberation of all these tribute states, which will be placed under the protection of the Terran Amalgam immediately. We, who command hundreds of systems, are to be..." Zixcan's words might have not been audible to the Terran, but they might as well have been. The Terran's face vanished, and a map appeared on screen. For a moment, Emperor and Admiral alike swelled with pride as the map of their empire appeared, so grand and glorious in its bright red shade. Then the tribute states, dozens of single worlds or small numbers of minor civilizations having 2 or 3 worlds or systems. But as the map zoomed out, it reached the wormhole. Then the view changed, and the Terran amalgam came into view. It grew, and grew, and grew, and grew, and grew, until there was a great mass of blue, an ocean to the hegemony's raindrop. "Make your choices, hostiles, or we will make it for you." The Admiral killed the transmission. Anzac-Scan's antenna flailed about as he recalled the last transmission of the little colony. They were right, he thought, and from the way the Emperor's antenna moved, he knew it, too. End of story. Story number 2. Guns and Helmets, written by Tamwin 5. They say a soldier is only as good as their gun and their helmet. There's a lot more truth to that statement than most mercs are keen to admit. We would like to think of ourselves as well. I guess it depends on the merc. Badass, smart, free, maybe even heroic. For those fresh faces that barely last a week. But just a finger to pull the trigger once your helmet has told you where to move and who to shoot. It cuts through all the little lies you tell yourself. Still, there's nothing that a merc loves more than a fancy weapon. My baby's a ZT-7 plasma projector. Has the punch to cut through a ship hull if I need it, but it's intimidating enough I rarely have to pull the trigger. You'll see a lot of folks, particularly Claxton, who go for swords. Useful in the halls of a starbase, I suppose, but it's a big gamble. See, even if one of them does get me, all I have to do is pop a containment on the ZT-7 and blow us both to hell. Now my helmet, there's a story. Got it from the Rimside scrapper. It's an old Terran model, but never heard of Terrans. Not too surprised. It was, about 100 cycles ago, long before either of us. Some emperor had been beaten and decided to grab the longest-range ship he had and run for it. 3 galaxies away wasn't enough to save him. When the Terrans caught up, it only took a couple of battles before they captured him and started the trip back home. I was on Cassius III when I first heard about it. Word came down the grapevine that someone had old Terran gear selling for millions in some backwater station. So, on the off chance there was something half good as the rumor mill was making it seem, I flew my crew over. Since I'm telling you the story, you've probably already guessed. It was legit. The scrapper was selling things for twice what they were worth, of course, but it's hard to get top quality as a merc. And what's money when you're not around to spend it? Terrans used projectile weapons with enough power to go straight through any deflector shield. They didn't look like much, and that'd be useless on a station that you were trying to keep airtight. I didn't want to have to kill some punk every time I needed a gang to back off, so I passed at those. There were plenty of other things. Explosive charges, a portable shield dome, a vial of nanites no one was stupid enough to open. But the cream of the crop was a full set of armor. It was intact, or at least as intact as you'd expect from some poor bloke's tomb to be. No way in hell I could afford it, even if I got the rest of the crew to chip in. So I bought the helmet. Every merc knows the helmet is 10 times as important as the rest combined. But the scrapper wasn't one, so I was able to get it separate. There was bartering, of course. They pointed out the suit was worth more as a full set. I pointed out that it was already missing a leg. You know how it goes. I cleaned out my life savings, but I got a helmet. Turns out there was an AI in there. Poor thing had been left on alone for the past century. I offered it some sympathy and asked it nicely if it wanted to work with me, and we hit it off well enough. Normally, you only get an actual AI running strategic level operations. Having a tactical level AI is the main reason I'm as effective and expensive as I am. At the end of the day, it's just guns and helmets. End of story. The algorithm reckons you should be watching this video next, and I recommend that you should be always watching my video. So, click with energy! And yes, clicking that does help the channel. Thank you very much. I'd just like to give a quick thanks to the T5 channel members and patrons: Alithia, Parky, Fudic Yol, Meridian117, Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnholtz, Angry Marine, Lord Azrakal, and White Van 420.